Welcome to the Stockin' Knit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 27. It is May 1st, so happy May.
Yeah.
Did any of your kids or any doorbell ringing get May Day baskets?
Well, they brought some home from school, but
Uh-huh.
no, like actual May Days hung on our doorknob or anything.
I don't know where April went.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah. I'm like, it's May? It's May! Oh, I'm excited it's May, but all the same, it's May?
Yeah.
So, we should probably just not chitter-chatter because we got way too much to talk about.
Yes.
I wanted to give a few zombie shout-outs. You'll see in Acquisitions, Lois of Knitting's My Bag did a fantabulous job for me on a custom order, so I wanted to give her a shout-out. That's Knitting's My Bag at Etsy. And the other person I wanted to give a shout out to was Hot Pink Socks. She's got a blog, and I won some yarn.
So did I.
Yeah, you recently won some yarn.
I don't have my yarn yet, but I did win.
Yes, and it's Beautimus. I saw that. So she has reviews, and she gives yarn away, and if Amy and I are 2 of the 10 that sign up, then we've got a high probability of winning.
Yeah, there aren't very many sign-ups on her, so get out there.
Yeah, and she does a good, there's different companies and bases,
Yeah.
it's a good way to learn about some companies you might not have heard about. So, Stephanie, I wanted to give Stephanie Hot Pink Socks a shout out, and she is a proud zombie member, so there we go. And then we've got, I think we could probably fill hours talking about our Yarnover experiences.
Yes, that was fun.
Met all kinds of lovely and wonderful peoples.
Yes.
I kind of had a bummer, as did some of the other folks that we met, that my morning class got canceled. So, I spent that time shopping and talking to people. And
well, yeah, you got to hang out with some of our Zombie Nation. And sounds like you had a really good time.
I did. I would have rather, not that nothing against the folks that I was with, but I think we all would have rather been in the class. So
yes.
we were kind of making lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
I tried to tell that to my husband, and I said it the opposite way. I was like, yeah, we were making lemons out of lemonade. He's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right. That analogy didn't quite work. So, so we met in no particular order, although there probably is order here because I went out to the thread. We met Dawn, aka PBR, 2 R's. Carla, also known as Blogless Carla from Chicago. And she was one of the folks that came all the way to from Chicago, to take Sharon's class, and that was the only class they were taking, and it got canceled. I felt sad for them, but there was Maureen, who was mom 3, Laura, who was mom 2 boys 76, Patty, PT Vision, Bonnie, BJ Holly, and Angela, who was all for love of yarn.
Okay.
That was a booth that I frequented. I spent so much time there that people were asking me if I worked there. So, and Corey, which is I Rock Knits.
Okay.
And you met her at lunch. We met her at lunch. And then at the hotel lobby, we met Lisa, who is Knit Me. And we also met Lene, who is executive knitter, who is the genius behind Grinning Gargoyle.
No, Executiva.
Executiva. Sorry, what did I say?
Execunit, I think.
Oh, sorry, Executiva. Yeah, sorry. I'm good at reading. I have a little cheat sheet, and I'm still messing it up. So, and then Adrienne, who is Drin, and on Ravelry, and she's also the designer behind one of my works in progress that you'll see. And Sarah, who is Mia Bella Yarn. She's got a yarn shop in Chicago. Chicago, right? Yeah,
Chicago. Or outside of, I don't know the exact suburb.
Yep, and then we also had a wonderful hotel and dining experience. We wined and dined. Christina Knits. Christy. Yep. So that was all very exciting for all you folks out there, I'm sure. But I wanted to give people a shout out. Did you have anything you wanted to say about your AM class while I was
Well, I can kind of show, I mean, it might be considered part of acquisitions, but, you know, I got this nice little bag in the, from the Minnesota Knitter's Guild, part of Yarnover. And then in my class, I paid a class fee and got a shacked drop spindle, some sweet Georgia Tussa silk, 1 ounce, and then we got a bunch of silk hankies to spin up and a little silkworm cocoon. And darn me, I left my little, what I actually created in the class at home. I was going to wash it, thwack it, and get it ready for you all, but life got away with me, and it is sitting in a little basket with some other hand spun, waiting to get thwacked. So we'll see if that gets done. But yeah, that was my Amy Singer class, and it was really fun meeting her. And yeah, it was really interesting and learned a lot about.
You said it was pretty intense. I mean,
yeah,
like compared to our afternoon class, which was a little bit more laid back.
Well, yeah, in the sense that, you know, we had to get going and get spinning so that we could actually get enough hankies on it to then ply it and have some yarn at the end of the class. So
it built on it.
Yeah, there wasn't really there was a break where we scrubbed our hands to get all the little snaggies off of your fingertips, because when you're working with silk hankies, you can get, you know, where it grips your hands. But that was like our only little break. So everything else was just, you know, intense, trying to keep it together. But got to watch some videos on how the silkworms are produced, and different methods, like modern methods and older methods for getting the silk fiber off of the cocoons. And I don't know, it was very interesting. Learned that a silkworm moth is born without a mouth, so its only purpose is to lay eggs and die of starvation. Sweet. Awesome, I guess. Like, so don't feel bad when they boil them and kill them so that they can have a continuous strand, because their lives are short. But
yeah,
again, you know, 3 hours or whatever it is that they stay alive in moth form is probably several years in moth years.
I guess, yeah.
Hours. But that was my AM class, and it was very fun.
Yeah, and our PM class was with Claire Parks. It was, I can't remember what the title was. It's like something about socks, right?
Yeah. By avoiding problems in your handmade socks.
Yeah, and she was completely lovely. Just
yes.
like the most wonderful and genuine human being. I mean, just, yeah, I had a lot of fun, very punny.
Yes, right? I was going to say, you got to mention the puns.
Yeah, and very knowledgeable, very willing to accept, you know, comments from the peanut gallery. We went through several. It was kind of not, I mean, the slant was looking at fiber for socks, but I felt like I learned a lot about what goes into making yarn.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the prickle factor. I was like, I'm going to start using that. The PF, what's the prickle factor? But what else was I going to say about the class? I can't remember. Just that it was fantastic. If you ever have an opportunity to take a class with Claire Parks, do it.
It was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, learned about all those extruded cellulose fibers, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, hopefully the ones that I have aren't that way, and then now everything's going to be labeled viscose bamboo or something.
And I've looked at some of my yarns, and they are now labeled viscose bamboo, which, again, take the class, but it basically means that if you're getting something that's viscose, it means that it might as well be synthetic.
Nylon.
Yeah. I mean, it's been chopped into unrecognizable pieces and heated up and chemicalized and extruded, basically, right? Yeah. So that was good to learn. And that's all I had to say about that. We tried to have a look out to see what pattern we saw the most of, because I had commented that February lady sweater was the previous year, and you and I both thought we saw the most color affections.
Yep, the color affection. There were 2 in our PM class.
Yeah, and then, alone.
Yeah.
And then just walking around.
Yeah, just walking around, saw a few more.
Yeah.
And I mean, not necessarily a high percentage, but of recognizable patterns that, have been in my queue. I was like, oh, yep, saw a lot of those.
Yeah, I saw a gal wearing, it was an Amy Christoffers, because I was thinking about wearing my large. Yeah, she was wearing a fireside. Mm-hmm. And I walked up to her and I'm like, because when you're at these knitting events, you kind of get used to just because people are walking up and petting you and asking you, and then you kind of get used to it. And I walked up to her and I'm like, excuse me, I think I recognize that pattern, but what is it? And she's like, it's fireside cardigan. And she's like, it's so funny that you came up and asked, because I was admiring your sweater from across the room, and I was wearing my daffodil that out of Woolmies, and it was just so funny. It was like, if we were a boy and a girl, we would have exchanged numbers and made a date, like I was admiring you across the room too, and I'm so glad you came over. So yeah, I had my own little knitting hookup.
I remember that. I bought some fiber at that booth, so
yeah,
I remember them quite well.
So what else were we going to talk about? Oh, our favorite indie dyers that were there. So
yes.
I spent a lot of time at All for Love of Yarn. Mm-hmm. She is out of Waseca, Minnesota. She actually said she spent 11 years here in Rochester working for Mayo, and they moved to Waseca. She not only had really pretty dye to me, she had the most interesting bases. Mm-hmm. So like she had you'll see in my acquisitions, she has a BFL blend. It wasn't just MCNs and
and superwash merino in various weights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She had something that was just a little bit different, and that piqued my interest. So, and then I also hung out around the Grinning Gargoyle.
Grinning Gargoyle. So some of the people that we hung out with in the hotel lobby, they were running the booth at Grinning Gargoyle,
which we didn't know at the time.
No, no, and we didn't know they were staying at our hotel, and we would see them later. But I ended up buying from them. I'm gonna save the actual yarn for later. But,
mm-hmm. And you were gonna mention that this is not
something I knit. Snaggy as all get out. It's just a cotton sweater. So the Grinning Gargoyle right there.
Very brilliant dyes. What else can you say about her?
I don't know. They were just a lot of really cool semi-solids, and so I spent a lot of time looking at them just because, like the variations in semi-solids sometimes can really capture your what do I want to knit out of that? That looks really cool, and you'll see what I acquired later. And I kind of like the one that, yours is kind of a semi-solid, very nice, evenly distributed color.
Yeah.
And
then there was also Sun Valley Fibers, which Jeanette was just wonderful.
And joined our group.
Yeah, I saw that. And her husband makes the little yarn buddies. So they're like a one-stop shop.
Yes.
Yeah. So picked out one of those, and he could give you, half a day tutorial on wood, I think.
That's where he geeks out. Right?
Yeah.
We're all about the fiber.
Like, this one is the most expensive to buy, but it's the easiest to work with, and so it's really hard to, he was just extremely knowledgeable, and I love people that are willing to give you that knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. That they're not just like, yep, that one's 32, yep, that one's 36, like he was willing to kind of fill in the blanks on why things were the way they were, and
why is this one 30 and that one 40, you know, like, because, it's the same shaped item, but some of the woods are really hard, and you have to have special tools to work with them, so.
Yeah. And that's all we're going to say about Yarnover for now, other than our purchases.
I did want to say that All for the Love of Yarn had some fiber that I was thinking about getting, but I wanted to like hold back on the fiber buying because I felt like their stuff for the price point I wanted to be better at spinning before I acquired some.
Yeah.
But I did acquire some fiber too, so
Okay.
you'll see that in acquisitions.
All right. So, you guys do you want to wait till the end, or do you want to do the drawing now?
Let's get it on. Yeah.
Let's get it on. All right.
These people want to know.
Self-striping KAL. We had 307 finished objects, which is fantastic. I think that's our most finished objects to date.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention two folks. They were not necessarily the folks that had the most projects out in the thread, but they had they did what I should have done, which is they knit socks and they churned them out. So Lauren, aka Lem Knit Crochet, had 6 pair of socks out there in one monster.
Holy cow.
Yeah, six pair of socks in 2 months. And adult socks, not little kid socks. And then Tracy, who is aka Phoenix Fire, had also 6 pair of socks, and just I think the remainder of all of those socks became change purses and baby hats. And,
oh, that's right.
Yeah, so she, those gals at least use 6 skeins of self-striping yarn, and like in totality used them. And so great job to you folks. And I'd like to gift you both a pattern.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I really like it when people get into our KLs.
Yeah. Yeah, and really take it to heart with the like self-striping sock yarn.
Yep, and socks. I mean, and these were vanilla socks too. I don't think they were, overly, they just churned them out. So Lauren and Tracy, contact me and let me know what your pattern choice is. Again, let's keep it around the $5 price point. I could probably be encouraged to go a little higher or a little lower. But let me know and send me a PM on Ravelry. When you hear first, we'll let you find out organically. And then we've got 4 prizes. So the person who isn't hitting the go button will be displaying. So why don't you go first? So we had 2 in 307. And what's our first prize?
Oh. This is Charlemont.
Nope, by Valley Yarns.
Valley Yarns, so the web's yarn in an olive, dark olive.
And that's got some silk, right?
It's a nice superwash merino, a 20% silk and 20% says Palme.
So that would make a good like wispy or
it's a good yardage. It's 439 yards per skein.
All right, so 2 to 307 generate 52. So that would be here. I'll show folks. 52. Hold it up. That would be on 3.
Yes.
Got a hop. 2, 3. 52 is pint-size Phoenix. Afterthought heel with fiber nymph dye works bedazzled leprechaun socks. Well, that's one of our other giveaways. So good thing that you got the Charlemont.
And it's green, so we know you like green.
Yeah. So Kristen, please contact. Are you going to ship that out, Amy?
Sure.
Contact Amy with your shipping information. She'll throw a button on there, I bet.
Yeah, I'll throw a button on there. Not the bag. I just wanted to protect it now that it's been drawn. This is mine.
All right. Next up, we have Laura Mag donated the Ripple Crafts BFL. And Laura, it is all your fault that I am now all about BFL. And we've got your little stitch markers and, of course, a button. So, 2 to 307. Generate, and we got 25.
25.
Want
Okay.
to show?
I was going to say now I have to do all the...
25 is on the last
one.
of the, yep. Goodness, early ones. It should be pretty fast, although it's loading the pictures, right? Put down the yarn! Happy early St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Yeah, they're green socks.
Yeah.
Very cool. And
So you won the Laura Maggs donated BFL.
Tara.
How
Cute.
Um,
And she used our little
Rabbiter.
Ravatar that we created.
Cool.
So, thank you.
Yep, and contact moi. Just run it, and I will be shipping this out to you. Where's she out of? Just curious.
Ohio.
Kent. All right, next up is, I said if I acquired too much self-striping that this would be leaving my stash. So
She didn't lie.
This is the Fiber
Some
Dye
lucky
Works
person
Bedazzled
to let you do it.
leprechaun socks. And
Some lucky person's getting something awesome.
And 2307, generate 63, another early one, 207.
Jeez.
Okay, so that is on page, actually here, let me, 63. Did you catch that?
Page 3.
Yeah, yep. Page 3. 67, right? You're supposed to be remembering this.
63.
63. Goodness. It is Dingle Daisy. She made a Bermuda scarf.
Pretty.
Yes. So Dingle Daisy, aka Eloise, out of Mississippi. Please
Cool.
contact. Who is she contacting? Me or you?
I don't know. I don't care.
She can contact you.
Dingle Daisy. Eloise. Contact me.
Yep. And it's got some 716.
Oh yes, there's
Stitch
an
markers,
additional
too.
prize on here. The Laura Maggs had
Yep.
little stitch markers with it as well. So stick those back in.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Eloise. Okay.
And our last one is it's going to be very like coveted here.
Yes, we've got
We
the
have-
hoe bag.
We have the whole bag.
Yeah.
And a button, and on the inside, some lovely buttons, and then some yarn that Megan has donated out of her stash.
Yep.
Self-striping.
Yep.
So it fits the knit along.
Yep, I'm getting rid of some self-striping as I didn't knit it. So we go, do you want to hit generate? All right.
Whoa.
307.
That's like the last number. Random is not being random. It doesn't seem like a lot at the
Okay, I'll
beginning
give
and
you
then
the
one at
last
the
one.
end.
Yep, all right.
But that's the definition of random, isn't
I
it?
guess, yep. Can't be predictably in the middle, right? Or then it wouldn't be random.
That, and I always feel like I'm on the beginning or end when everything clumps in the middle, and I'm like,
And
random.
it is Net84.
Hey,
Net. Lazy Katie shawl, unblocked. So she didn't get it blocked in time for the knit along. And Net. We'll cut you some slack. So, yep, Annette out of Madison, New Jersey.
Woot woot.
Contact moi. Actually, I can probably just send it to you because I think I have your address from when you sent me that wonderful carton.
Yes, that's right. She did.
So if she doesn't watch, I
That's
can
some
just
serious knitting karma.
That is.
like coming back.
like knit something good, and good will come back to you. So thank you everybody for participating. It was a wonderful knit along, and we stumbled upon our next knit along at Yarnover.
I sure did.
Do you want to tell the story, or do you want me to?
We were sitting there at lunch and having a nice conversation, and I don't remember where the idea came.
There was actually Mom 2, who I mentioned, who is Marine, or Mom 3, who I mentioned is Marine, was complimenting or not complimenting, was commenting on, I had only bought 2 skeins of yarn, and I said I was
yes.
going to make a garment out of it. And she's like, you're going to make that with only 2 balls? And BJ Holly, who is Bonnie, said, 2 balls, that'd be a great knit along. 2 balls.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure in between those suggestions was a lot of snickering and giggling.
Yep.
And
you're going to make that with only 2 balls? So, in that vein, we are going to, our next knit along for May and June is going to be the 2 balls knit along. So
2 balls.
Any project, and the balls don't have to be a certain yardage, but this time around we're going to change it up. We're not going to have it be multiples. So you'll get your 1 2-ball project in, and 1 entry per person for this knit along. And if you're like me and you've got, 400 yard soft yarn skeins to make a garment, that might take you a little bit longer than folks that are using, 2 balls of the wool that was 100 yards apiece. But
yeah,
whatever you can think of to come up with, and you've got 2 skeins that are 2 lonely skeins that are sitting in your stash. And I think I'd like it to be 2, literally. I don't want it to be 3, and I don't want it to be 1. I want it to be 2 balls for this KAL. And some snickering may ensue.
Yes.
throughout the months.
Yep. I was thinking about it, and I have 2 balls of yarn set aside to make a monster, but I'm not sure if I'm going to need 2 balls to make it. So I'm like, it might not work. I have to replan, I think.
I guess maybe we could round up. If it's more than half of 2, 1.5, if it's 1 3/4 balls, because it might be hard to do unless you're doing a wingspan or a scarf where it literally takes up
2 whole balls.
You just knit until you stop, right?
Right.
So.
Or if you have 2 50-gram skeins of socks that you're doing 2 at a time or something.
Yeah.
That could work.
But you'll make it work.
Yeah. 1 per customer.
Yes.
This time.
Yep.
So
the 2 balls KAL will have a little Ravatar out there again, and away we go.
Yeah, I used almost 2 balls of yarn in my finished object. I have 2. I have my skews wearing them. My modified skews.
Yes.
Skew, not skew. Skew, not skew.
I think that just makes them more visually interesting.
Yes. And then my hitchhiker's done. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you to Yarnover for helping me to finish it.
We both had a FO that night.
Yep, we did.
So I don't know how far.
I refused to weave in the ends that night. I was getting a lot of crap for it.
I was like, you're going to go back and get different knitting? Why don't you just sit here and
weave in your ends? No, not weaving in ends. Tired. Don't want to do it. So that's my wingspan. It's beautiful. 3 Irish girls. We hope she feels better.
Sure, and get well, yes.
And the Colin colorway. Looney. My best friend Colin. Anyway, I digress. Yes, it was fun knit. It got a little exhausting towards, 35, 36, 37, 38.
Well, they just keep getting longer.
Yeah, they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, but fun, because it's mindless and it grows in interesting ways. It changes the way that the yarn decides to look and pool, and with each change in stitch count. So it's a very good pattern. I think all of her patterns out there of similar ilk are really interesting.
So did you get the book, or did you just buy the one pattern?
It was gifted to me. I think Bacon Fairy, Mandy.
Ooh.
So, and if I get who gifted me what wrong, I apologize. But the hitchhiker came to me as a gift. And
that's all.
Yeah, FOs. I have 2.
That's all. That's
now.
all. Yep. I'm wearing mine. Yep. So this is my Castle pullover, and again, I finished it on that Saturday night. So the folks in the lobby, Lisa, Adrian,
Sarah.
Lene, and Sarah got to see it. Well, I guess the ends weren't woven in.
Yeah.
Try it on.
Yep.
And it's a great little knit. In fact, I think I need to knit more short sleeve things because it was like I got done with the body and I was like, I'm done. Actually, I added more of, I added like an inch here. It said just to join after you separated for the arms and knit a couple rounds of garter. And I continued on because I have like a ball and a half left of the wool. And I don't know, it's just a perfect little knit because it's the lace part is just 2 rows repeated 4 times and then another 2 rows repeated 4 times. So it's brainless enough that you can sit and talk like I did at Yarnover, or like listen to Clara talk in class, or but it's intricate enough that you're not like completely brainless, you know, like so easy yet intricate, and I love the result. Yep. So I'm hoping that the wool does really balance out the cotton because I could see it growing. It's already a little long.
Yeah, it's longer than it was when you tried it on for us too.
Yep. It's growing, but we'll see.
Hopefully you wash it.
Yep. But remember, cotton has less elastic memory or elasticity or whatever. Right? So we shall see. So what are you knitting on?
I am knitting on the Georgia on My Mind socks by Leslie of the Knit Girls. You don't call me Les. And I am on the heel flap.
Woohoo.
I am making one modification to Leslie's pattern. On the reverse of the knit flap, on the heel flap, it says to just purl back. I'm slipping the first stitch and purling back because that makes the edges the same. Like you have both sides being slip stitches. And that was just a minor like thought in my head, like this says purl all the way back, but I'm gonna slip one and then purl all the way back. And I will probably tell that to her if she doesn't watch this. I'll probably get around to doing that. I just started the heel flap not too long ago, so I haven't been able to get to my email and reply to everybody who's test knitting for her and let her know that that's what I decided to do with it.
You know, you still have the lag in between when I publish it and when this goes out.
Okay, by the time you see this, I will have emailed Leslie to tell her what I have done.
Yep.
And I was knitting on this in my Clara Park socks class, and she was talking about 2-ply yarn, and I'm like, hey, I have a 2-ply yarn, and she was saying how it kind of wears through and it doesn't make the best socks. But I was like,
no, she was just saying that if it's got a shadow, right, if you want the pattern to have, it's got, because the 2 yarns are fighting each other, basically.
Right, but she also said, like, there's more air in it that you have to make up for somehow because in strength, so you have to do other things to strengthen the yarn because the yarn itself has a lot of air between the 2 twists, and there was diagrams on how to visualize that. But yeah, so it had a lot more strength in it, but not as much strength in the air or density of the fiber.
No.
Anyway, that's one. And the other thing that I knit a bunch on was my back to school sweater. Oh, this is kind of I got this for my birthday. Lois.
I'll get mine out too.
Yeah. Made Megan these, and Megan gave me one for my birthday.
Yes. So I custom bought the fabric from Swoonflower, and I just had to finally relent that I was never going to. It's like it's probably like buying a skein of like 100%, bison or something. I just knew that I was never going to use it because I would be intimidated by it, right? So I sent it off to her, but I can talk about that. And you can talk about
Yep.
woo, that's made a lot of progress.
So this is my back to school vest. And it's looking very small, like a cowl or something.
Yeah.
This is supposed to go around my middle. I
Yeah,
swear.
it's just the
ribbing.
the ribbing sucks in.
Yeah, it's half the size it's going to stretch out to be.
Yeah,
So.
that's what mine looks like when it's hanging up too.
Yeah.
It looks like you've got a mushroom, right?
Yeah.
And then the top is some sort of seed stitch or something like that, and so it's just like all big and billowy up here and.
Yeah. So, made quite a bit of progress on that. But
what's it out of?
This is Dream in Color Classy.
Classy.
Yes, this is my Dancing Dog Dye Works.
Oh, that's right.
Twist sock. It's kind of doing that stripe pooling that like things like Socks That Rock might do.
Mm-hmm.
A nice wide one, and I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
But that, and then when I don't want mindless, which I have been wanting a little bit of not mindless, I have been working on this mohair thing that you might have remembered from a million years ago.
Back when you had cast-on-itis back in
Yep.
December?
Yeah, probably. So I had cast-on-itis, and I cast on a bunch of things, and I wanted big yarn, so I said, oh, I'm going to get this. I love this, and I do want to keep going back to it, but it is a pattern that's not necessarily easily memorizable, but you look at the repeat once, and then you can do it for the rest of the row. So that's good. That's easy enough for me.
Yeah.
But I do have to sit with a pattern. I can't just take it with me without the pattern. And so when I've been sitting at home, and it's, again, it's more like what other people have been doing, just a couple rows, and then I put it away.
Yeah.
I don't spend all night on it. I might knit on other stuff and then just pull this out for 2 rows. But I have been working on it. It did start to get some progress done again. And I'm looking in my bag, and there's nothing else that's getting a lot of progress. So I will come back to me in acquisitions.
Yep.
Whoops. Dropped stitches.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. They'll come back.
Come back to me. All right. First, after I got done with this, I cast on some wee little socks. They will fit my daughter. I made her some socks, and my motivation for casting these on was I had just met Adrian, and so these are the skip socks, or Skype, or whatever you call it. I think it's SKYP, but I don't think she meant it to be like Skype. It's abbreviation for what the pattern is, which is slip 1, knit 1, yarn over is the Y, and then P is slip the past stitch over 2. So that's what SKYP stands for.
Okay.
And it's free pattern, so I'm not giving away anything here. And I just used the pattern, the 8 stitch pattern, and measured my daughter's foot, figured out my gauge, and got a multiple of 8, cast on, and I've got a little spreadsheet out there, and I can, if you look at my project notes, you can see she wears a girl's, or not a girl's, it's the pre-kids size, or it's the kids size, it's the youth sizes, I guess. She's not quite up into the big shoes yet, so this is like an 11 or a 12. But, so I had some leftover self-striping, and my son started wearing her old ones. So again, he wears the purple ones, and he wore the ones that I knit you when you were like, take that, toddler.
No.
He's now starting to wear those. In fact, he won't take them off. He's like, Mommy, wash them so I can wear them again. So I was like, I should knit at least some more socks so it can be handed down through 3. Rather than knit Dexter some, he can get some, down the line. So worked on that until I could cast on last night at midnight. The Madeline Tosh May has officially been kicked off, which is my month. So it encourages me to use a lot, some of my Madeline Tosh. Yes, it's my favorite. Well, the 2012 Sweater Odyssey is doing it as a knit along.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's my motivation. I'm getting a twofer out of it. It's the 2012 Sweater Odyssey. It's Madeline Tosh May. I thought I found another one today. No, I'm gonna, for Madeline Tosh May, I think I'm gonna join Tosh Balaz's KAL for Color Affection if I get done with this in May. Because she's a moderator out on the that thread, the KAL for Madeline Tosh Color Affection. But unless I only use 2 skeins, I can't use it for our knit along. Not that I'm eligible for prizes or anything, but
yeah, Color Affection has 3 colors.
I know, right? So, yep. But it's going. It's bottom up, which again isn't my favorite. It's fingering weight on small needles.
What's the pattern?
It's folded.
Oh yeah.
So it gets interesting when you get to the top. And I think I'm going to do the little portion after the darts in garter, just for the front piece. I've seen
now
it.
I'm curious.
I've seen it.
Horribly dark.
Yeah, all of the pictures are really dark. And the yarn that I've chosen is dark. So people out on Plurk helped me choose my Midnight Rendezvous versus my Ire Light, which was an alpaca, and it was in grenadine. It was kind of a bright, color. But yep, 2 balls. So
Okay.
that's my second or third knit along. So it's Vera knit along. So I'm doing folded, and it's Madeline Tosh May.
And it's ours.
Yep, 2 balls. So
Gotcha.
yeah, should be a fun knit once I get past the miles and miles of stocking knit in the round. I don't know. It just seems. Yeah. I found myself wanting to go back to the socks because it's actually less brainless than knitting this over and over and over and over again in the round. But
It's really cute, and I'm looking at the yardages, and it seems like I would only need 2 balls of yarn if they were generous. They'd have to be over 455 yards.
So Madeline Tosh. I think most of Madeline Tosh's fingering is over 400.
Right, but 455.
Yeah, I don't know if they're all over. This is going to be, I think. So yeah, this is my Tosh sock in the Midnight Rendezvous.
I don't need to start another sweater.
I know.
3 of them go.
It's $3.95, so I might end up having to make the sleeves a little shorter, which is fine by me because by that time I'm gonna be sick of knitting sleeves. So, and I'm not yet alternating skeins. I'm gonna get a little closer to the top. If I start running out of this one, I might start staggering in some so it's not as drastic.
Yeah, Tosh had some, good pointers for Froggy Monkey when she was talking about all her alternating skein woes. So
where was that? Was that out on Plurk or was that in
it was
thread?
I think that everybody commented on the thread in Knitting in Circles for that episode.
Cool.
So maybe I'll find it. So
and I wanted to give a shout out to Ooh Fancy Pants too. I'm glad that you're back.
I haven't watched yet. I've been busy. But hello, Rumi.
She's got a lazy dog, and she's going to jury duty.
Okay.
But yes, welcome back. We missed you. So, acquisitions?
I was going to say Mommy Needs Yarn is back too.
Oh, really? Cool. I haven't caught her latest episode then.
Acquisitions.
Okay. I was good. You were pretty good too.
Yeah.
Considering all the temptations we had.
Yes. Lots of temptations. So, I will start with the fiber.
Your big one you didn't bring. Your wheel.
Oh, yeah. Big acquisition. I have a ladybug. It's out. And I am fighting with it.
Uh-oh.
Like, I have to figure out the tensioning or something because, and I also think that the fiber that it was given to me in a prize giveaway through the Mommy Needs Yarn podcast, and the staple length seems to be about this much, which for me as a beginner is challenging, and I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'm messing up all the time. And it seems like I'm trying to treadle as slow as I can, and it's still just yanking the yarn out of my hand, and I've backed off the tension quite a bit, and it's still bugging me. So I'm using that as my play skein, or my play fiber, and it's also my learning curve for just getting the feel for those short staple fibers, because it's and the way it's prepped, it's like, you're like, it's very little grab. It's very slippery. It's not beginner fiber, and I'm trying to do it as a beginner, so it's tough. And I'm not sure what it is. Maybe because there was no label on it. So if Erin's watching and she knows, please message me. Okay. So this was the independent Dyer. It says hand-painted fat cat knits, fibers, and yarn. I didn't ask her. Let's see. Says from New York. So, really? But she was selling her fiber, and they were spinning it too. So this was the interesting part, is that you could buy spun, hand-spun yarn, or the fiber that she had used to make that hand-spun yarn. So I got to see what, maybe not this particular colors, but the blend. And it's a merino bamboo 60/40. This one might be not for beginning. Although it seems very grabby and kind of felty and kind of crimpy, so maybe it'll be okay. I'll pull some off and see when I'm ready. And then I got this beautiful thing. I think that these are awesome. That's the cat's meow. Yeah. This one is Be Mice Elf. So Be Myself, but it's bee. Bee, the insect.
Mice.
As
in mouses.
Mice. And then elf, and it's got little feet. And it's very cute. It was a little spendy. Bought it from the Darn Knit Anyway booth. But it's a super wash BFL. And the color is called Tropical Banana.
That is begging to be a monster.
Yeah, exactly.
And BFL is supposed to be nice for beginners, right?
Yes, that's what I'm told. Not as nice as Corriedale or Falkland, I think, but still very good. So good transitional fiber. And then we got this in our bag, our Yarnover bag, and it's from Yarn Harbor in Duluth, and it's a Jamieson's Shetland and a DK weight, 100% Shetland wool. And somebody pointed out to me that it matches my fiber just awesomely. So I think once I get this all spun up, and I might need yardage to make something that is bigger, so like a monster or whatever.
I think it was Maggie. Maggie was sitting at our...
Yeah, Maggie Radcliffe?
Yeah.
Maggie Radcliffe told us this. She's written a lot of books on color.
Yes. I think she pointed that out.
She knows.
Yes.
And it was a good match. If I get a lot of yardage out of this isn't going to be used, because this is Superwash BFL and this is Shetland.
Yeah.
But if I don't get much yardage and it's not the best, it's like beginner's yarn. Mm-hmm. I'll use this to add some yardage to get like a good sized monster out of it. And that is it for the things that I purchased, but Christina brought gifts. I'm going to say they were birthday gifts, but Megan got one too.
Okay.
So these are Into the World. This one's a Polworth silk blend, and it's beautiful. I'm excited.
Yeah.
the prep on this fiber looks awesome. And this is an BFL, or Blue Face Lancaster wool top. So BFL wool top. And that's really cool too.
Yeah,
I like
very pretty colors.
So, so I have a Polworth, another Polworth to play with, and another BFL to play with. So I'm not sure which one is going to win after I figure out my wheel tension, but I'm thinking one of the BFLs or the Falkland is going to be the next one.
And Christy delivered your wheel as well. So
she did. Yes, thank you so much. That was awesome. So that I could get that without having to travel.
And the wheel came home to Rochester strapped into an infant seat.
Yeah, strapped into a car seat like a baby. It was babied. The box was huge. There's no way it was going to fit in any other way. So here's my gridding gargoyle. Now it's a really dark color. It's called Black Spruce, but it's a semi-solid, and it's just got beautiful subtle variation in it.
I really, really liked her more like scorched colors, I guess, like that have the dark overtone to them, or undertone, whichever you.
Yeah, this one's subtle. I can kind of see some scorching if you look in this section, but I know which ones you're talking about. There was like a red with like a black scorching in it.
It kind of looked like a tart, and then there was this one that kind of had a black overtone.
I acquired 3 of these because that's my new theme. Must have 3. So that I can make a sweater.
I'm rubbing off on her. You must have garment quantities. There is no point in having a single skein of anything.
Oh, I thought the yardage was better on this, but $375.
That's
Plenty.
Not too bad.
No. Plenty.
For especially at that price point.
Yes, it was a good price point too.
Yep, for $375.
Yes.
On MCN.
Okay, yes. So, $24. So you know exactly how much I spent on this yarn. But it was my only big purchase. Like the other...
other than the wheel.
The wheel was not a Yarnover purchase.
Oh, okay.
Did not purchase that at Yarnover. I just happened to receive it at Yarnover.
Ah, yes.
It's an MCN, so 80-10-10, and it's 375 yards. And it's very squishy. Yeah. And I like it very much.
I contacted her today, and because it was just like all I could think about. I'm like, I must get some of that. And so
she has it in sport too.
Yes, yep. So I'm either going to get it in sport, or I'm going to get it in a different base that she had. I think it's called Roxy. Was a lace weight she had that was an interesting mix that wasn't an MCN to me. So in Thunder Snow is the colorway, which was what Adrian was knitting on when we were sitting in the lobby.
That was like,
I must have Thunder Snow. It's like I wake up in the morning thinking about Thunder Snow.
It was a very beautiful color.
Yes.
And actually she said it was the remnants of a shawl she had knit, and I remember looking at that shawl when we were at the booth. So yeah, it's a very beautiful color. This one's called Skinny Super Twist Fingering, if you were looking to
out on
look it up.
Etsy or
Yep.
Yep.
We'll link her shop, but my understanding of her business practice is that she has a full-time job, and what she likes to do is dye a bunch up and go to shows.
Yep.
So you might not necessarily catch a lot on Etsy, but I know that she'd be perfectly willing to take special orders at this point.
The thing about that's really hard for me is like, unless you've seen it in person or it's out on the Etsy shop, it's really hard to contact somebody about a custom order without being like, this is specifically the base I want and this is specifically the colorway I want, right?
Yeah, colorway would be the hard part, you know, for me. I think bases, like, you know, you got the like, this is a good base from me, but then you only have seen this one colorway, and you would have to trust me on the rest of them. I don't know how many objects are out there in Ravelry.
Yeah, there weren't a great deal, but you know, that might change. People that went to this Yarnover and bought some, go out there and post it. So
yeah, and so again, it was wonderful meeting the dyer and getting to fondle the yarns. We had almost, like, if they didn't have that tote packed away so tightly in their little van on the way out of town, we would have acquired some more.
Yeah, I think so. I think Christy was going to try to grab some too. She was like, oh, I must have some. So as we mentioned, twice now, I think, Lois, Knitting's My Bag, grabbed.
Yes.
I sent her, so she made, we called it the Diane Special. Because she did the same thing for Diane's Spoonflower. She basically made as many bags as she possibly could with I sent her 2 yards. So we have the black ones and the green ones, and I believe these 2 will be up for a future knit along prize, so possibly our 2 balls.
Yeah, possibly.
KAL.
I know I have some different fabric Lois to give away too. So
oh, cool. Yep.
we have lots of possible. We want to spread it out.
Yep.
Right? We don't want
Give
to
it all
give it
away.
all away at some point.
Yep. And that's my son squawking.
So I guess we're pausing.
That, or I'm turning it down.
Oh, that's right. Grandma's here.
Yep.
There we go.
There we go. Let's stick with Yarnover. I think we both got a Sun Valley Yarns button. So
I don't think mine
Sun
made
Valley
it onto one
or
of my...
sunvalleyfibers.com.
Oh, yep, mine made it onto my whole bag.
Yep. Sunvalleyfibers.com. Maureen won a door prize. One of the Chicago folk. Knit One Below. And she said, give it away on your podcast. I don't know if she just wasn't interested in lugging it around all day. This is, again, Mom 3. I keep on wanting to say Mom 2 because Laura was Mom 2 boys.
Mm-hmm.
She's Mom 3. So it's a cute book. I guess we could probably review it, look at it first before we gave it away. But
okay.
It's about doing different things below, obviously. So got that. These bags, which I have already removed.
Oh,
my
Velcro?
Velcro. Why would knitters buy bags with Velcro?
They wouldn't.
That I don't know. And then, as I was speaking about, all for love of yarn. I always want to put the in there. all for love of yarn.
It's not all for the love of yarn.
No, it's all for love of yarn. Which kind of makes sense. The isn't really necessary.
No.
And this is her Eloquence base. So it's BFL, which is the Blue Face Leicester, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, which I thought was a very interesting blend because I've recently fallen in love with BFL. Also love me some cashmere. And then we also learned in class that silk is a very good natural alternative to nylon. Right? It's a strengthening. So I got me 2 skeins in the Oak Grove colorway, and I don't know if the camera is going to catch it or not, but it's
a very subtle
tonal. And that's the one thing I find it, and I can let people know. I'm pretty sure Angela wouldn't put this on here if it wasn't true, but it says minimal pooling. So I am very curious to see how it knits up. It's going to be a garment of some sort, and I love it dearly.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and then as you mentioned, Christy gave me, I'm trying to be fast here because we're almost over an hour already, gave me some Rainy Days and Woolly Dogs yarn, Goth Socks, yarn.com.
Goth socks.
Yes.
Highly coveted stuff.
Yes, and it's a self-striping yarn. So I send self-striping out, and self-striping finds its way back to me. But this is, what is the colorway? The Past and Pending. Mm-hmm. So it's got blacks and
really pretty.
Yeah, I don't know what's the base. It's merino bamboo and nylon, 60-30-10. So that'll be interesting to knit up. I can't tell whether or not there's going to be a skinny or thick or dark from looking at this because it's been reskeined. But voila, thank you so much, Christy. I'm sending you your needle. Oh yes, in the mail tomorrow with all this goodness. And then last but certainly not least, my much coveted Tula spinning fates that I got from the Hot Pink Socks. She reviewed it. Very bright, very clown barfy. And Tula is just an 80-10 merino and nylon, just 400 yards. And this is the Tropicana colorway. I don't know if I think she had some socks that she knit up in it to do the review, and they were just gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
I love my Dr. Watson socks.
Yeah. And is it this Tula base?
It's Tula base.
Cool. I've never had any spinning fates. So again, more self-striping has found its way into me. Into me stash. So, yeah, I think we both had a great time at Yarnover.
Yes, laughing until your sides hurt.
Yes. Yep. Until we finally wrapped up probably about midnight, I think. Mm-hmm. And that was just because those gals had worked so hard that whole day. Mm-hmm. I don't know that it was that we were ready to be, done for the night. Yeah,
we were just tired. They were tired. We were tired. Yeah.
Yep. And Lisa was just, that was the first. I mean, she was the only person that we met in the hotel that was like somebody that had seen us on the podcast. So that was pretty cool. I asked her did you hear me? I was like, so how did you hear about our podcast? And she was like, the girls. I was like, oh, only knitters would completely understand that, right? The girls. So there's much talk of future events. So whether to go to Stitches or Rhinebeck, and of course you have SSK, but I don't get to go with you and Christine and everybody else.
Carla, and I got to meet some more of my SSK fun group. Mm-hmm. Super fun time.
So I wonder if they're going to have another one and they're going to let the people that went the first time go again. I don't think that would be fair.
It might just be another random, right? You have to re-register and randomly get drawn back in. Yep.
That or there could be like an SSK North and an SSK South. Kind of like Stitches, right?
That would be a really interesting idea because you could get different podcasters. Now, this is just something I just thought of. I'm not organizing anything
currently.
But yeah, we could take on the name as an overall thing, not just a Knit Girl and Around the Twist thing, but a video podcaster thing. Or if other podcasters not in video want to get involved. And then just host it around the different areas. Like that one, the first one was in Nashville. That was kind of a compromise between, where the two video podcasters live. But, if we did one with like Froggy Monkey or Diane or somebody else, then, where would it be? And that'd be interesting. Yeah. We think Minneapolis is an awesome town.
Lots of yarn shops. Tons of yarn shops. They have awesome sauce yarns.
And they're all within, like, if you string them together, you're not going to drive more than 20 minutes to get to another one. So, it's going to, start here and go bing, 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 because some of them are clumped. And then, I don't think that we drove more than 20 minutes to get from one to another during the hop.
And it's not all about the shopping. It would be fun to just be in an area where you weren't actually traveling, right? And just sit and knit and have fun.
I think with the idea that we have so many, it'd be fun to like get a bus and go to all of them, and then also do the like just sit and knit downtown or somewhere fun
until midnight in the hotel lobby.
Yep, laughing until we get side aches. Yep.
Have random people wander through and offer bachelorette party favors for $1.
That's right, yeah.
Suck for $1.
There was a wedding and a bachelorette party.
And I think a bachelor party I heard when we got back to the room. So, but again, we jammer at the end. And meanwhile, Blip is going, you can't upload this, it's too big. Yeah. So, Yarnover is over. Yarnover over.
Aww.
Wah, wah.
I have SSK to look forward to.
Yay! Well, I've got lots of things to look forward to.
We also have 1,000 members to look forward to. It's
Yeah.
getting close. Within
Dangerously
50.
close. We got another hoe bag that will. Oh, and Shannon, Wheesparrow is sending out the shirts. She said that they got back from the printing, or got done with the printing process earlier than she thought. So, but she's holding on to ours last, or sending ours out last. So yeah, goodies, wah wah. But
We ordered some more.
we did.
Yeah,
We're
it was
sucker.
quite spendy.
Yeah.
I have lots of them apparently. I was like, when you told me the total, I was like, I guess I did order that many shirts. Holy cow!
Well, we got some to give away on the podcast.
Yep.
And we got some for our daughters,
Yeah.
and we got some for ourselves, and
I got a tank top for SSK because
Yeah.
it's going to be hecka hot out there.
true dat.
Go.
So,
Okay, Yammer.
Yep.
Bye.
bye, Ufta.